People often say that what sets women apart is the husband they marry. That saying is absolutely true, but there are still good husbands out there, men who seem perfect. And yet they can change, lose their hearts, or betray their vows because of circumstances. Men often cheat during certain periods in their lives. I'm not trying to generalize, but today, I want to share with you a true story, my own story. Men usually cheat when they are away from their wives, when their wives are pregnant, or when there is tension coming from their mothers. So many divorces have happened for those reasons, and my story was no exception. My husband cheated on me when I was 6 months pregnant. I'm sure many women have gone through what I did. Some had their marriages shattered. Some lived quietly in misery, staying home taking care of their children, waiting every day for their husbands to come back from work, only to find out that their men were being unfaithful. Their babies cried, got sick, their mothers-in-law were difficult, and many of those women fell into depression, became emaciated, and some even chose to end their lives to escape it all. That my husband also cheated while I was carrying our baby. I cried endlessly. But I was luckier than most women because I had a kind, understanding mother-in-law. Mrs. Helen helped me so much in bringing my home. My name is Laura. I'm 26 years old, and my husband's name is Andrew. We worked at the same company, fell in love, and got married after 2 years of dating. Everyone said we were a perfect couple, a handsome man and a beautiful woman. Before marriage, I was proud of my looks. I was a tall, pretty girl. No wonder I caught Andrew's attention. He was a young deputy director, successful, confident, and charming. When we were dating, I didn't have to worry about anything. I had money, time, and I took care of myself carefully. Every time I signed a new contract at work, I would use all the bonus money on beauty care and dresses. My skin was soft and rosy, and I was confident walking beside him. Even though Andrew had other women trying to flirt with him, I was sure none of them could be more beautiful than me. Of course, he never cared about those girls. Our love was strong and passionate. But after 2 months of marriage, things began to change, especially when I got pregnant. Pregnancy hit me hard. I had terrible morning sickness. I was tired all the time. The smell of rice or food made me nauseous. Even when I hadn't eaten anything, just the smell made me retch all day. I was exhausted, so tired that I didn't even bother combing my hair. And when flies landed on my lips, I didn't even wave them away. My skin turned pale green. I lost several pounds, and even milk made me throw up, seeing me suffer. Mrs. Helen persuaded me to quit my job and stay home so she could take care of me. Andrew also agreed. It was our first child, the first grandchild of the family, so everyone prioritized my health. I stopped working and stayed home. Mrs. Helen told me morning sickness usually lasted 3 months. So during that time, I didn't have to lift a finger. She said, whatever you can do, do it. Whatever you can't, just rest. I'll hire help if needed. She cooked for me every day, but I could barely eat anything before I threw up. She had to clean up after me every time. How hard it is being pregnant. I looked at other women carrying babies, strong like bulls. Well, I felt like I was dying. But thinking of the little life inside me, I forced myself to eat for the baby's sake. Then, pimples began appearing on my face, on my back, even on my legs. I looked awful. I stopped styling my hair because I was afraid chemicals would harm the baby. My belly started to swell, my neck darkened, and my skin turned splotchy. Some women glow during pregnancy. I turned into a ghost. I hated my reflection. Even I couldn't stand looking at me. How could Andrew? He went to work every day, meeting beautiful, stylish women, then came home to a messy, tired wife. Of course, he must have felt bored. After 3 months, the nausea eased, and by the 4th month, my appetite returned. I ate like crazy, as if making up for lost time. I was home all day, so I snacked constantly. Thanks to Mrs. Helen's care, I gained weight rapidly, 16 kilograms by the 6th month. Since it was summer, I wore loose sleeveless dresses to stay cool. I looked like a hen brooding eggs. Sometimes I teased Andrew, "I'm fat and ugly now. Do you still love me?" He laughed, hugged me, and said, "Of course, even if you're ugly, you're still my wife, the mother of my child." Mrs. Helen encouraged me too. After 6 months, "I'll take care of the baby for you so you can go back to work and focus on yourself. Just pause the beauty care for a year for the baby's sake." She was right. 1 year wasn't long, and motherhood was a sacred thing. I should cherish these moments. By then, my belly was big, but I was finally sleeping and eating well, no longer worrying. Lately, Andrew had been coming home late. I thought he was busy with work, so I didn't suspect anything. By 8 p.m., I was fast asleep anyway. But Mrs. Helen noticed. She sensed something wasn't right. She waited up for him. And when he finally came home at midnight, she was still sitting by the door. "Oh, Mother, why are you still awake?" he asked. "How can I sleep when you're not home yet?" She replied, "I was working late. You should go to bed first next time." She grabbed his hand and said, "Listen, your wife is pregnant. Her emotions are fragile. Come home early, take her out sometimes, make her happy, all right?" Andrew nodded vaguely. "Yes, I'll try, Mom. Now you should go to bed too." When he entered the bedroom, he saw me asleep. So he quietly changed clothes and lay down beside me. He was careful not to wake me. In the morning, I woke up and saw him next to me. "Morning, honey. You should get up for work." He kissed my forehead. "You go back to sleep, sweetheart. If you need anything, ask Mom to get it for you. I'm busy with a new project lately, so I might not come home early. Don't be sad, okay?" I smiled. "I'm fine. Just focus on work." He smiled, kissed me again, and got up. Andrew went downstairs for breakfast. Mrs. Helen brought out the food and sat beside him, her eyes quietly observing her son. "Is there a lot of work at your company these days, son?" she asked. Andrew nodded. "Yes, quite a bit, Mom. I thought most of your work could be handled during office hours," she continued, her tone calm but probing. "Do you really have to stay until midnight every day?" Andrew sighed. "There's a new project, Mom. A lot of things need my attention." Mrs. Helen narrowed her eyes slightly. "Don't think your mother knows nothing," she said softly. "I can tell something's not right. You'd better not do anything to hurt your wife, especially now that she's pregnant." Andrew frowned. "Mom, what are you talking about?" I haven't done anything wrong. Are you following me or something? Mrs. Helen's face turned serious. I don't need to follow you, Andrew. A mother knows her son. The moment you start changing, I can feel it right away. You can't hide anything from me. Frustrated, Andrew stood up from the table. I can't even eat in peace anymore. Fine, I'm going to work. Wait, you haven't eaten. Mrs. Helen called after him. I've lost my appetite, he muttered, grabbing his car keys and walking out the door. Driving to work, Andrew's stomach growled. But he didn't stop for food. When he arrived, his secretary, Tracy, a beautiful young woman, walked in and greeted him brightly. Good morning, boss. You're early today. She giggled and wrapped her arms around his neck. I'm not in the mood, Tracy, Andrew said sharply. Something wrong? You don't look well. Just some family stress. Mom's been saying nonsense again. Tracy widened her eyes playfully. Wait, did your mom find out we went to the bar last night? Andrew's face stiffened. No, it's not that. She just thinks I'm hiding something because I've been home late. Well, Tracy said teasingly, it's kind of cute that your mom still worries you'll have an affair. She smiled, brushing her hair from her face. I guess I shouldn't invite you out again. Huh, I just wanted you to relax. I didn't mean any harm. Andrew smiled faintly. Yeah, it was fun though. Made me feel young again. Tracy's eyes sparkled. My group always knows how to have fun. We split the bills. No drama, no strings attached. That's what keeps it easy and exciting. Then she leaned closer, her voice sweet as honey. It's a shame I won't get to hang out with you again, Andrew. Your mom's so strict, Andrew chuckled. No, I'll still join you guys. I haven't done anything wrong. Have I? Exactly, Tracy said with a sly grin. You're a grown man. Why let your mother control your social life like a child? Andrew nodded slowly. You're right. That evening, Tracy texted him. A few friends are coming over to my place tonight. Join us. When work ended, Andrew drove straight to Tracy's apartment. They ate, drank, and laughed until late. By midnight, everyone had left. Everyone except Andrew. He walked out of the bathroom, wiping his face. Hey, where did everyone go? He asked Tracy, pretending to be tipsy, smiled faintly. I don't know. They were just here a minute ago. Guess they all left, she said, handing him a glass of wine. Let's have one last drink. Just the two of us. I have something I want to ask. Andrew raised an eyebrow. What is it? Tracy clinked her glass against his. I want you to put in a good word for me. The senior director's returning soon. And I really want a promotion. I owe you big time. Andrew laughed. Sure, I'll help you. But that wasn't all Tracy wanted. She had always been attracted to Andrew, even before he got married. Now that she had his attention, she planned her move carefully. At first, she pretended to be just a friendly colleague. No romantic intentions at all. But once Andrew got close, she began using her charm to draw him in. She made it easy for him to fall into her trap. As they drank, Tracy inched closer, her voice soft and nostalgic. Do you remember how I used to follow you around the office? I was such a silly girl. Andrew laughed. Yeah, you were. So, do you have a boyfriend now? Tracy pouted. No, still single. I must be cursed. No one wants me. Impossible, Andrew said. You're beautiful and sweet. I don't believe that. It's true, she sighed dramatically. Maybe you could introduce me to someone handsome, charming, like you. Andrew smiled. There is no one like me. Then I guess I'll have to be alone forever, Tracy teased, resting her head on his shoulder. She smelled of perfume and wine. Her skin warm against his arm. Andrew froze but didn't pull away. Then, in a soft whisper, she said, Andrew, I'm all alone here. Could you treat me like a little sister? Just protect me a bit. Be there for me. I promise I'll never interfere with your life. Andrew hesitated, his heart softening. He knew Tracy's parents lived far away. She was truly alone in this city. Fine, he said gently. I'll be your big brother, okay? Thank you, she whispered, kissing him lightly on a cheek. Then she giggled, jumping round playfully. Her bra strap slipped down her arm, and she pretended not to notice. Stretching lazily across the sofa, Andrew looked away awkwardly. Tracy smirked to herself. You'll fall for me soon enough, she thought. This is just the beginning. When Andrew got up to leave, she stumbled toward him. Let me walk you out, she said, pretending to be dizzy. She fell against his chest, pinched his cheek, and kissed him quickly. My sweet big brother, she giggled. Now I won't be lonely anymore. Andrew blushed. You're too drunk, Tracy. No little sister kisses her brother like that. Oh, don't be so serious, she teased. People in the West kiss all the time. Relax, big brother. Her dress had slipped dangerously low. Andrew stammered, your dress. Maybe pull it up a bit. Oh my God, she said, pretending to be embarrassed. I didn't even realize. Oops. She hurried to fix it, then waved him goodbye. Drive safe, big brother. Andrew smiled awkwardly and left. When he got home, it was nearly midnight. I was already fast asleep, but Mrs. Helen was still sitting in the living room. Mom, I told you I was working on a project, he sighed. She shook her head. Don't mind me. I just couldn't sleep. My head hurts. Did you take your medicine? He asked. Yes, I just did. Oh, by the way, your wife has a prenatal checkup tomorrow. Make sure you take her, okay? Andrew nodded. Yes, Mom, I will. As he walked upstairs, Mrs. Helen watched him go, a heavy sadness in her heart. Could it be happening again? She thought, just like his father, cheating while I was pregnant with him. She sighed deeply, then opened her cabinet. Inside was a small envelope. She counted out 5 million dong, sealed it, and whispered to herself, I'll find out the truth. She planned to hire someone to follow Andrew. Still, she prayed her suspicions were wrong. The next morning, after Andrew left for work, Mrs. Helen knocked on my door. Laura, dear, wake up. I opened my sleepy eyes. Yes, Mom, I'm going out for a bit. There's chicken porridge downstairs. Eat some later, okay? Where are you going, Mom? Just meeting some old friends. I nodded and went back to sleep. Not suspecting anything, Mrs. Helen went out and met a taxi driver she knew. I'll pay you 5 million, she told him. I need you to follow my son, Andrew. I think he's seeing another woman. Just observe and report back to me. The driver agreed. Yes, ma'am. I'll update you right away. Mrs. Helen returned home and waited anxiously for news. I, meanwhile, stayed in bed, eating and resting, completely unaware of the storm brewing outside. That evening, The phone rang. It was the taxi driver. "Ma'am, I have information. Lately, Andrew has been spending time with a woman named Tracy. They work at the same company. I don't know if they're involved, but they seem very close. Maybe too close. Last night, he was at her apartment from 6 in the evening until nearly midnight." Mrs. Helen's face turned pale. Her intuition had been right. Her son was having an affair. She felt her heart ache, not for herself, but for me, her daughter-in-law.
Next afternoon,
who was now
Mrs.
Helen
through the
decided to
same
meet
pain she
Andrew
had
in
once
person.
endured.
She didn't want to confront him with anger. Not yet. Instead, she chose a small cafe near his company, hoping that a calm conversation might reach his conscience. When Andrew saw his mother's name flash on his phone, he rushed out immediately, worried something was wrong. "Mom, what's the matter?" he asked as soon as he arrived. "Sit down first, son," she said gently. They sat together like two friends, rather than mother and son. Mrs. Helen smiled faintly. "That young woman, Tracy, is very charming, isn't she?" Andrew froze, eyes wide. "Mom, what are you talking about? There's nothing between us. She's just like a little sister to me." "Is that so?" Mrs. Helen smiled knowingly. "I'm glad to hear that. Then let me tell you a story. A story from about 35 years ago." Andrew sighed impatiently. "Mom, please. I'm busy. It'll be quick," she said softly. "Just listen." Her voice trembled slightly as she began. "It was when I was 8 months pregnant with you. Your father and I seemed happy, everything was perfect. But one night, I discovered he was having an affair. I followed him secretly and saw him enter another woman's house. He told me he was working late, but I saw the truth with my own eyes. I felt like the whole world collapsed beneath me. I went to that woman, begged her to leave him, to give me my husband back, but she mocked me, insulted me, and told your father that I came to attack her. When he got home, he was furious. He believed her, not me. He yelled, broke things, and left me crying in the dark. That night, I was so desperate, I decided to end everything. I bought a bottle of sleeping pills. When your father left for work, I swallowed more than 10 pills at once. Everything went dark. But by some miracle, your father forgot an important document and came back home. He found me on the couch, the pill bottle still in my hand. He rushed me to the hospital. If he hadn't come back, neither you nor I would be here today. Andrew sat frozen, speechless. Mrs. Helen took a sip of coffee, then continued softly. If your father hadn't forgotten that file, you'd have lost your mother that day. When a woman is pregnant, her body changes. Her emotions are fragile. Even small things can push her over the edge. Stress, loneliness, a husband's indifference, they can destroy her completely. That's why I'm telling you this story, Andrew, because I can see myself in Laura right now, and I can see your father's shadow in you. Andrew stared at the table, his throat dry, his voice barely a whisper. Mom, are you saying I'm like Dad? I'm not accusing you, she said softly. I just want you to remember what I went through. Your wife is carrying your child, just like I once carried you. If you make her feel abandoned, she could lose herself completely. You're a grown man, and I trust you'll do the right thing. Andrew nodded slowly. I understand, Mom. But Tracy and I really are just friends. Then I'll believe you, she said with a faint smile. Take care of Laura and the baby. Andrew watched his mother leave, a knot of guilt tightening in his chest. Back at the office, Tracy noticed his silence. She brought him a cup of coffee. "You look tired, boss. Long day." "Yeah," he muttered, "just stuff with my mom." "Want me to make you feel better?" she said playfully, moving behind him and placing her hands on his shoulders. "Let me give you a little massage." Andrew leaned back, closing his eyes. Tracy had taken a massage class once, and her hands were skilled, gentle, and dangerously familiar. He couldn't deny that it felt good. "Come over to my place tonight," she whispered. "We'll have a drink, relax." Andrew hesitated. "Not tonight. I should go home tomorrow, then?" she asked softly. "I'll think about it." "What's wrong? You've been distant lately." "It's nothing," he sighed. "My mom's worried I'm seeing someone. I just want to calm her down for a while." Tracy's face darkened. "Oh, so that's why you're avoiding me." Andrew reached out, holding her hand gently. "Don't be upset. Once things settle, I'll come by." She forced a smile. "Promise, promise." She hugged him tightly, pressing her cheek against his neck. "You'd better not lie to me, big brother." Andrew chuckled nervously. "I never lie to my little sister." But as she clung to him, her chest pressed against his, the scent of her perfume overwhelmed his senses. "Smells good," he said awkwardly. Tracy smiled wickedly. "You're the first man I've ever hugged like this," she whispered. Andrew blushed again, looking around the empty office. Tracy grinned. "Don't worry, no one's here. I could give you a full massage right now." "Tracy, this isn't appropriate." "What's inappropriate about a massage?" she said softly. "They do this in the West all the time." Andrew sighed, torn between desire and guilt. Finally, he closed his eyes. Tracy slid her hands under his shirt, running them slowly across his chest. "Stop," he whispered, grabbing her wrist. "I'm just helping you relax," she murmured. Nothing more. Before things could go further, someone knocked on the door. Andrew jumped to his feet. "Who is it?" he called out. "It's Mr. Tan from Vietcorp," came the reply. "We had a meeting scheduled today." Andrew quickly buttoned his shirt. Tracy scrambled to fix her hair, then hid behind the bookshelf. "Come in," Andrew said, forcing a smile. The client entered, glancing around the room. You're alone?" "Yes, of course," Andrew said. But the man's eyes suddenly flicked to the corner. There's someone behind your shelf." Andrew froze. Before he could react, the man barked, "Hey, whoever's hiding, come out now." Tracy sighed and stepped out, her face red with embarrassment. Andrew coughed. This is my secretary. She just came in for some papers." The client smirked knowingly. "Of course. Well, let's get to business." After the meeting, Tracy crossed her arms and pouted. "Ugh, what a mood killer. We were having such a nice moment." "They had an appointment," Andrew said flatly. "It's not my fault." That night, when Andrew came home early, Mrs. Helen smiled with quiet satisfaction. He seemed calmer, more attentive. "Back already?" she asked. "Yes, Mom, I finished early today." "Good. Dinner's ready. Call Laura and come eat." Upstairs, I was listening to music when Andrew came in, smiling softly. "I'm home. Why so early?" I asked, surprised. "Finished work early. Come on, let's have dinner." He touched my belly gently. "Wow, it's getting big. When's the baby due?" "Just about a month left," I said, Time flies. Hang in there, sweetheart, he said warmly. Mrs. Helen watched us, her heart full of relief. She even took a few photos of us together. After dinner, Andrew and I went for a walk with Mrs. Helen. She said walking would make labor easier. The night air was cool, and I felt happy, peaceful. For a moment, everything felt perfect. I had a loving husband. That
caring
night,
mother-in-law,
as I slept soundly,
and a baby on
Andrew
the way,
tossed and
I
turned
silently
beside me
prayed
for this
his
happiness
body ached
to
with
last
restless
forever.
desire.
All day, Tracy's touches haunted his mind. He tried to sleep, but couldn't. He turned toward me, only to see me sleeping with my mouth open, snoring softly, my swollen face glistening with pregnancy. He turned away with a sigh. How can I even feel attracted right now? He thought bitterly. Finally, he picked up his phone and texted Tracy. Are you still awake? She replied instantly. I can't sleep. Show me your face for a second, she wrote. Let's video call. Andrew glanced at me still asleep and typed, okay, but no sound. When the call connected, Tracy was wearing nothing. She smiled seductively, her voice muted, but her gaze electric. Andrew swallowed hard, turned off the call, and rolled over, frustrated. I woke up slightly, sensing movement. Why aren't you sleeping? I murmured. I can't, he admitted. I just feel frustrated. I smiled weakly, knowing what he meant. Since my pregnancy had advanced, we hadn't been intimate at all. Please, just bear with me a little longer, I said softly. I'm huge. I can't do anything now. There are other ways, he said hesitantly. Maybe you could help me a little. I frowned. No, I can't. That's disgusting. Come on, it's just temporary. No, I snapped, tears welling in my eyes. Don't make me feel worse than I already do, he groaned in frustration. Unbelievable. You can't even try to please your husband. I kicked him out of bed. Then go sleep somewhere else. He grabbed a pillow and stormed out of the room. Sleeping on the couch. In the morning, Mrs. Helen found him there. Oh dear. What happened? Did you two argue again? Andrew yawned. I just didn't want to disturb Laura. I'll grab breakfast outside. Mom, stay. I'll make you something. He shook his head. No appetite. I'm heading out. As he left, Mrs. Helen sighed heavily. Then she went upstairs to check on me. Laura, sweetheart, are you two okay? I sat up groggily. Yes. Mom, we're fine. Then why did Andrew sleep on the couch? Oh, maybe he was just moody, I said dismissively. Don't worry, Mom. Mrs. Helen frowned. You're too carefree, my dear. Men are like children. They need attention. If you don't care for him, some other woman will. I rolled my eyes. If they want him, they can have him. I'm too tired to care. Don't say that, she scolded gently. You'll regret it if he strays. But I was already lying back down. Let me sleep. Mom, I'm exhausted. She shook her head sadly. This girl has no idea how dangerous that secretary is. That afternoon at the office, Tracy decided to change tactics. She knew Andrew had already fallen halfway into her trap. Now it was time to make him chase her. All day she worked silently, not teasing him, not calling him big brother like before. When the clock hit 5 p.m., she simply stood up, smiled politely, and said, Goodbye, Mr. Andrew. I'm leaving. Andrew blinked, surprised. Wait, You don't have any plans tonight. Oh, I always have plans, Tracy said with a playful grin. But I thought you wanted to stay home early these days. Andrew hesitated. Actually, I could use a little fun tonight. Tracy tilted her head. Really? Then, shall we? Sure, he said quickly. I'll come by after I finish a few things. As she left the office, Tracy's lips curved into a victorious smile. Finally, she thought, he's the one asking for me now. That evening, she showered, dressed in a silk dress, and waited for him, glass of wine in hand. When Andrew arrived, she greeted him with a warm smile. Come in, you're late, she teased. He laughed nervously. Sorry, you didn't take a bath yet. I fell asleep waiting, she said softly, heading toward the bathroom. Give me 5 minutes. Andrew sat on the sofa, his heart racing with both guilt and excitement. When he heard her voice call from the bathroom, Andrew, could you scrub my back for me? His resistance shattered. He walked in, and what he saw made his knees weak. Tracy stood under the shower, water streaming over her bare skin. Come on, she said casually, or I'll get soap in my hair. He hesitated only a moment before stepping closer. She handed him the sponge. As his hand brushed her shoulder, she leaned back against him deliberately. Tracy, he murmured. She turned, eyes glinting mischievously. What's wrong? Don't you like me? Of course I do, he whispered, his breath trembling. But what if someone finds out? Who will know? She smiled. Your wife's at home. You're here. No one else matters. And just like that, Andrew's last piece of restraint dissolved. He pulled her close, and the two fell into the whirlpool of forbidden desire. Hours later, they lay tangled together. Exhausted, Tracy called up against him and said softly, I don't want to be just your secret. I want to be your wife. Andrew froze. Tracy, don't say that. You know I can't. Then you don't love me, she said bitterly. I'm not some toy you can use when you're bored, he sighed, rubbing his temples. Please, give me time. I'll figure something out. Promise? Promise? Tracy smiled, satisfied. Good, because next time, I won't let you leave so easily. It was almost midnight when Andrew finally got dressed. I have to go, he said quietly. Tracy pouted. You're leaving me all alone. He kissed her forehead. You need rest. We'll talk soon. Don't forget our agreement, she whispered. He nodded. I won't. When he got home, I was still awake. I'd been having dull cramps in my belly for hours. Where were you? I asked softly. He looked startled. Nowhere important. Just tired. You didn't even text me. I'm sorry, he said quickly. Can we talk tomorrow? I nodded but turned away, tears forming as the pain in my stomach grew stronger. He lay beside me, facing the wall, pretending to sleep. Minutes passed. I clutched my belly tighter. Andrew, I think something's wrong. He turned lazily. What do you mean? It hurts. My stomach? Maybe it's just cramps. Try to rest. But it really hurts. Laura, he said with a sigh, you're still weeks away from your due date. Just sleep. We'll go to the hospital in the morning. I stared at him in disbelief. Are you serious? What if I give birth now? You won't. Just sleep, please. I bit my lip, holding back tears. After he started snoring, I slipped out of bed, woke Mrs. Helen, and told her about the pain. Within minutes, she grabbed her bag and shouted, Andrew, Get up, we're going to the hospital. Half asleep and confused, he stumbled into the car as we rushed to the maternity ward. 2 hours later, I gave birth to a healthy baby boy. When the nurse came out holding the newborn, she called, "Who's the father?" Andrew jumped up, smiling widely at me. Mrs. Helen's eyes filled with tears of joy. Oh my goodness. He looks exactly like Andrew when he was little. Andrew puffed out his chest proudly. Of course, my son has to be handsome like his dad. Holding the baby in his arms, he suddenly felt a deep pang of guilt. He looked at me lying weak but smiling, and shame burned through him. What have I done? He thought. 3 days later, we returned home. Life became busy and full of warmth. Both grandmothers helped care for the baby, and Andrew, for a while, seemed like the perfect husband again. Always home early, always by my side. But not everyone was happy at the office. Tracy fumed in silence. She had texted him many times, but he never replied. One afternoon, she confronted him. "Why are you ignoring me, Andrew?" He sighed. "Laura gave birth. I've been busy, so that's it." "She gives birth and you forget me? Tracy, please. Let's not do this here." She crossed her arms, glaring. "You used me. Now you think you can just walk away." "I didn't use you," he said softly. "I made a mistake." "Then fix it," she snapped. "Either you come to me tonight, or I'll make sure everyone in the company knows what you did." Andrew paled. "You wouldn't." "Oh, I would," she said coldly. "I have photos." "Andrew, videos too?" "What?" His blood ran cold. "You recorded us?" Tracy smirked. "Of course. You don't think I'd let you disappear that easily, do you? 3 videos, 40 minutes each. You look great in them. By the way, Tracy, this is insane." "No, this is love," she said softly, her eyes glinting. "I love you too much to let you go." The evening, Andrew sat at the dining table, silent and pale. Mrs. Helen noticed immediately. "Who was that calling you just now?" "No one important," he said. "Don't lie to me, Andrew." He sighed heavily. "Mom, I messed up." And for the first time, he confessed everything. Mrs. Helen's face turned white, then red with anger. But after a long silence, she said quietly, "What's done is done. Now we fix it." He looked at her helplessly. "She has pictures, videos. She's blackmailing me." "Then we'll handle her," Mrs. Helen said coldly. "But you must promise me, never again." "I swear," he whispered. "From the moment I held my son, I knew I couldn't go on like this." "Good," she said firmly. "Now listen, be strong. Don't let that woman control you. If she calls again, tell me immediately." He nodded, several days, grateful and terrified, avoided Tracy completely. He ignored her calls, deleted her messages, and even changed his office schedule to avoid seeing her. At home, everything seemed peaceful again. I was busy with our newborn, and Andrew had become more attentive, helping me with feedings and diapers, always smiling whenever he looked at the baby. Mrs. Helen was thrilled. She often said, "Now that the baby's here, our family feels complete." But deep down, Andrew was still terrified. Every time his phone buzzed, his heart would leap in panic. Tracy had gone silent, and that silence was far more dangerous than her words. One afternoon, Mrs. Helen was washing vegetables in the kitchen when she heard loud knocking at the door. "I'll get it," I called, still cradling the baby. When I opened the door, a beautiful woman stood outside wearing a short red dress, her makeup flawless, her perfume thick in the air. "Hi," she said sweetly. "Is Andrew home?" I blinked, confused. "Who are you?" "Oh, I'm his coworker, Tracy." Before I could respond, she smiled brightly and stepped inside. "Oh, so this is your house? So cozy." I was too stunned to react. "Please, he's not here. You can't just walk in. Relax," she said, glancing round casually. "I'm not a stranger. We're very close." Andrew and I at that moment. Mrs. Helen came out of the kitchen. Her smile vanished instantly when she saw the visitor. "Oh, it's you," she said coldly. "Hello, Mrs. Helen," Tracy replied smoothly. "I didn't expect to meet you again so soon." "Get out," Mrs. Helen said sharply. Tracy blinked innocently. "Why so harsh, ma'am? I just came to see Andrew." "He's not home," I said quickly, still confused. But Tracy ignored me, her gaze wandering to the baby in my arms. "So this must be his child," she said, smiling faintly. "Cute." Mrs. Helen stepped forward protectively. "Don't you dare touch that baby." Tracy tilted her head. "Oh, you think I'd hurt him? Don't worry, Mrs. Helen. I would never hurt something that has Andrew's blood." "Enough," Mrs. Helen shouted. "If you don't leave now, I'll call the police." Tracy laughed softly. "Go ahead, but I think your son would rather I stay quiet. Wouldn't he?" I stared at her in shock. "What are you talking about?" Tracy turned to me, smiling sweetly. "You don't know, do you? Your perfect husband and we've been seeing each other for months." My heart stopped. I shook my head violently. "You're lying." "Oh, am I?" she said, pulling out her phone. "I have proof." Mrs. Helen lunged forward, snatched the phone from Tracy's hand, and threw it to the ground. Shattering it, Tracy gasped. "How dare you? How dare you? Coming here to ruin my family." Mrs. Helen's voice shook with fury. "You think I'll let you destroy what I've built?" Tracy's expression hardened. "You're just like your son, selfish and cruel. But fine, I'll go. Just don't blame me when the truth spreads." She spun on her heel and walked out. Slamming the door behind her, I stood frozen, trembling. The baby began to cry, and tears spilled down my cheeks. "Mom," I whispered. "Is it true?" Mrs. Helen closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and slowly nodded. "It was, but he regrets it, Laura. He truly does. Please don't do anything rash." I sank to the floor, sobbing. How could he, when I was carrying his child? How could he? Mrs. Helen knelt beside me. "Listen to me, dear. Don't let this destroy you. Men make mistakes, but a strong woman decides what to do with those mistakes." Her words felt distant. All I could think of was Andrew's face, his gentle words, his promises. It was all a lie. That evening, Andrew came home as usual, smiling and carrying gifts for the baby. But when he saw me sitting silently, eyes red and swollen, and his mother glaring at him, he knew everything. "Laura," he said weakly. I looked up, tears streaming. "Don't," I said coldly. Not a word. Mrs. Helen stood between us. "She came here today," she said sharply. "That woman you called your sister," Andrew froze. "What?" She told Laura everything. She even had photos. but I destroyed them. Andrew covered his face with both hands. Oh God, do you understand what you've done? Mrs. Helen cried. You nearly broke this family apart. Your wife just gave birth. And you, I know, he shouted, his voice breaking. I know I was wrong. He fell to his knees before me. Laura, please forgive me. I was weak. I was stupid. But I swear, it's over. I stared at him, shaking my head. Over, you think saying sorry fixes everything? Do you have any idea what you've done to me? The baby began crying again, and I turned away, refusing to look at him. Mrs. Helen picked up the baby, whispering gently, Laura, calm down, for the baby's sake. Andrew sat there on the floor, crying silently. The house was filled with the sound of the baby's cries and the heavy weight of betrayal. That night, I didn't sleep. I just stared at the ceiling, listening to Andrew breathing beside me. I wanted to scream, to hit him, to make him feel the pain I felt. But instead, I whispered to myself, for my child. For my child. In the morning, he tried to talk, but I ignored him completely. Days passed, and I became cold, distant, silent. Mrs. Helen tried to reconcile us, but my heart was frozen. Andrew did everything. He cooked, cleaned, even took leave from work. But the wall between us only grew higher. A week later, Andrew received a message. It was from Tracy. You thought you could erase me? Think again. Attached was a short video, the two of them in bed together. He went pale. Within hours, she posted it anonymously on a gossip forum connected to his company. By noon, everyone had seen it. His boss called him in immediately. Andrew, what the hell is this? I don't know, sir. Don't lie to me. It's all over the internet. You're suspended until further notice. Andrew stumbled out of the office, his reputation in ruins. When he came home that evening, his face was gray with shame. I was feeding the baby, but I could feel the storm in the air. Mrs. Helen looked at him. What happened now? He handed her his phone. She watched the video silently, then looked up, her face ashen. Laura must not see this, she said firmly. She already knows enough pain. But it was too late. I had seen the screen reflected in the mirror behind them. I froze. My heart stopped. Without a word, I stood up, walked to the kitchen, and began washing the baby's bottle. Tears rolled down my face silently. Laura, Andrew whispered, walking toward me. I slammed the bottle into the sink. Don't touch me. Mrs. Helen rushed to stop me as I grabbed my bag. Where are you going, Laura? Anywhere but here, I said coldly. I can't breathe in this house anymore. I walked out, ignoring their cries behind me. Outside, the evening sky was gray and heavy, like my heart. The moment the door closed behind me, the sound of the crying baby echoed faintly in the distance. I stopped for a second, trembling. Part of me wanted to turn back, but the pain was too deep. I tightened my grip on the baby carrier and walked away under the pale, cold light of the street lamps. I didn't know where I was going. I just walked through the empty streets, past the quiet houses, tears blurring everything around me. My phone buzzed nonstop. Calls from Andrew, from Mrs. Helen, but I couldn't bring myself to answer. After a while, I found myself standing in front of a small 24-hour convenience store, the kind with bright fluorescent lights and a small corner for resting. I sat down, rocking my baby gently, and whispered, "Don't worry, sweetheart. Mommy's here. Mommy won't let anyone hurt you." The baby stirred, then fell asleep against my chest. I stared at his tiny face. So innocent, so perfect. And my heart ached even more. I had no family nearby, no money on me. All my things were still at home, but I couldn't go back. Not yet. Morning came. The store owner, an old woman, noticed me sitting outside. She walked over with a warm smile. "Dear, you've been here all night. Are you okay?" I forced a small smile. "Yes, I'm fine. Just resting." She looked at the baby and frowned. "Resting with a newborn? You should be home, child." I didn't answer. I just lowered my head. After a moment, she sighed. "Come inside. You can stay in the storage room for now, at least until you figure things out." Tears filled my eyes. Thank you so much." That night, I slept on a thin mat in the back room, the baby wrapped tightly in my arms. It was cold and uncomfortable, but at least I wasn't under the same roof as him. The man who had betrayed me. Back at home, Andrew was losing his mind. He had searched the streets, called hospitals, friends, police, but there was no trace of me. "Mom, what if something happens to her?" he cried. Mrs. Helen's face was pale with worry. "Calm down, Andrew. We'll find her. You just focus on fixing the mess you've made." For 3 days, I didn't contact anyone. I fed the baby milk donated by the store owner, used borrowed clothes, and avoided crowded places. I wanted to disappear, to live like I never existed. One afternoon, as I was washing bottles behind the store, Mrs. Helen appeared suddenly. I froze. "Laura," she said softly, "please, don't run. I'm not here to scold you." Tears welled up in my eyes. "How did you find me?" "I asked the police for help." "You didn't go far." "I knew you wouldn't." I looked away, biting my lip. "Why did you come?" "To convince me to forgive him." Mrs. Helen shook her head. "I came to see you, to see if you and my grandson are safe." She gently took the baby from my arms and smiled through tears. "He looks thinner. You must be suffering, my dear." I said nothing. She looked at me for a long time, then whispered, "I know you hate him, and you have every right to, but please, come home. Not for him, for yourself, for your child." "I can't," I said quietly. "I'll never be able to forget what he did." Mrs. Helen sighed. "I don't ask you to forget, only to survive. You're still young. You have a child to raise. Running away won't heal your pain." Her words struck deep. I knew she was right, but I couldn't bring myself to see Andrew again, seeing my silence. She placed a small envelope beside me. "Here's some money. If you truly don't want to come back, at least use this to find a safer place. Don't starve yourself and the baby." Then she kissed my forehead and left quietly. I sat there for a long time, staring at the envelope through blurry tears. Inside was 5 million dong, and a note. A mother's love never runs out. Days passed. The baby grew weaker, crying often from hunger. The old store owner gave me what she could, but her kindness couldn't last forever. One morning, the baby refused to drink milk. He whimpered softly, his skin pale. Panic surged through me. "Please, please, not now," I cried. I rushed to the nearest clinic. The doctor examined him and said, He's malnourished and dehydrated. You need to feed him properly. He needs care, warmth, stability." His words hit me like lightning. Care, warmth, stability. Everything I had taken away from him. That night, as I held my son close, I finally whispered, "Okay, sweetheart, Mommy will take you home." When I arrived, Mrs. Helen was in the yard, watering the plants. The moment she saw me, she dropped the hose and ran over. "Laura," thank God, she hugged me tightly, then kissed the baby again and again. "You're home, my dear. You're finally home." I stood still, crying silently. "Where's Andrew?" I asked softly. "In his room. He hasn't eaten for days." I took a deep breath and walked inside. Andrew sat by the window, his face gaunt, his eyes hollow. When he saw me, he froze. "Laura," he whispered, "you're back." I didn't answer. I placed the baby gently in the crib, then turned to him. "I didn't come back for you," I said coldly. "I came back for my child." He nodded slowly. "I know, but thank you for coming back at all." I looked at him, this man I had once loved with all my heart, and felt nothing but emptiness. Over the next few weeks, Andrew tried everything to regain my trust. He stopped working, spent all his time helping with the baby, cooked, cleaned, begged silently with his actions. But the wound in my heart was too deep. Every time he smiled, I remembered Tracy's voice. Every time he touched my hand, I saw her face. One evening, Mrs. Helen sat beside me and said softly, "Laura, do you still love him?" I stared at the baby in my arms. "I don't know, Mom. I don't even know what love means anymore." "Love," she said gently, "isn't about forgetting what happened. It's about deciding whether to rebuild. You can forgive without excusing him, but if you choose to stay, do it for the right reason, not just the baby." Her words stayed in my mind for days. One morning, I found Andrew sitting outside, staring blankly at the sky. Next to him was a resignation letter. "I'm quitting," he said quietly. "I can't go back there. Everyone knows." "What will you do?" I asked softly. "I'll start over somewhere else. Even if I have to drive taxis or clean tables, I'll do it. I just want you and the baby to live peacefully." For the first time, I saw genuine sincerity in his eyes, the same warmth I once fell in love with. "Andrew," I whispered, "if I give you another chance, will you promise never to hurt us again?" He grabbed my hand, tears streaming down his face. "I swear, Laura. I'll spend the rest of my life proving it." I looked at him for a long moment, then said softly, "Don't swear, just do it." Months passed. Andrew found a new job in another city. We moved together, quietly, starting over. No one there knew our past. Mrs. Helen stayed behind, but visited often. She always said, "As long as you two love and respect each other, you can overcome anything." The baby grew, smiling more each day, and the cracks in our hearts slowly began to mend. There were still nights I couldn't sleep, still times when a smell or sound brought back painful memories. But each time, Andrew was there, patient, quiet, waiting for forgiveness to bloom. And one evening, as we watched the sunset together, I whispered, "Maybe we really can begin again." He took my hand gently and said, "As long as you're here, Laura, that's all I need."